A lot of people ask me how I come up with messages all the time. Yes, or sometimes remixed messages of previous ones. That's because the basics are the basics. But here's a prime example of what ends up happening with me. So myself and Heather were recording a podcast episode, and this concept came up in the episode. And then I started to think about it. And as I was listening, as I was talking, these new ideas are sort of sparking. And the analogy that her and I discussed actually expanded as I thought about it some more. So here it is. Maybe I'm going to steal a little bit of thunder. Not sure if you'll see this before you hear the episode or vice versa. But let's consider the sand and the bike analogy, right? So imagine there's a nice beach that you want to ride your bike. You're going to go leave the path and you're going to go ride the bike across the sand, and you want to get to the water's edge for whatever reason, right? And just imagine that there's been a fresh windstorm and the sand is nice and flat. You can't see any tracks anywhere. Would you want to be the first person that rides their bike through that sand? Or would you rather be the second or third or fourth person? And this question was posed to me. It's like, you probably want to be like a second, third, fourth, because that path is already cleared out for you and it's going to be easier. You're not going to have to work as hard. So the idea is this path is like a pathway in your brain. When you hear neurons that fire together, wire together, it's this association that starts to happen, this carving of a path, if you want to call it, in your brain. So the idea is the more you do it, the more you follow this path, the easier you get. If you're the 10th or 15th person, it's going to be a breeze. It's going to be like riding a bike on the pavement, really, because it's going to be that compacted and that carved out. Like you won't even notice the difference. But the first few really had to struggle. So this is like when you're trying to carve a new path in your brain, a new habit per se. You have to really work hard at it at the beginning, and then after you start to ingrain it, it gets easier, and your brain actually wants to go in that direction because it's the easier direction. Now imagine some time passes and some wind starts blowing and then sand gets back into that path again. It's still there, but it's kind of covered a little bit. It's not going to be as easy to do it. This is like when you fall off a path or a habit and have to come back. This is when you're trying to remember something that you did before, that you knew how to do before, but you have to sort of dust it off and carve it out again. And then it becomes second nature all over again. You know, muscle has memory. You've heard a lot of these euphemisms before. So you want to imagine that when you're trying to carve out a new habit, a new whatever, it's going to take a little bit of work up front. But once you get through that hard work, it becomes easier and easier the more often you do it. And this is why consistency is the secret. Persistence is the secret. Being patient is the secret, because you're the one going to be carving out that path over and over again. And then it'll become second nature to go to the gym rather than going through the drive-thru. But remember, you have to carve this path in the sand with your bike. And it will be hard at the beginning, but it'll get easier and easier as you do it, because neurons that fire together wire together.